Welcome to the Tuesday morning edition of the Sack Lunch Show. Tuesday, February 25th. It's 10:06 and 39 seconds, and we're broadcasting live from beautiful Bainbridge, Georgia, on the banks of the sparkling Old Flint River. Thank you so very much for tuning in to the Sack Lunch Show on the Flint Media family of radio stations. We are presented by David White and the gang at Cook's Appliance Services, the Bonnie Blue House on Calhoun Street in Bainbridge, Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, H&R Block in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, and Blakely, where you can get up to $3,500 the day you file your taxes.
Yes.
ABAC at Bainbridge, Stewart Auto Parts, B3 Property Management. Quick little note here.
Okay.
Bradley Watts and his son, Bradley owns B3 Property Management. He and his sons are looking for some prime turkey hunting land.
Oh, okay.
And he will pay cash for the hunting rights. If you've got some turkeys on your land, call Bradley Watts with B3 Property Management, 229-854-1530. My friend Brian Howell with United Rentals, and the Nomad Nurse.
And don't forget Bill Payne, attorneys at law, Brownlee Glass Company, Carter's Fried Chicken, home of the delicious D-Bone, Dr. Homer Breckenridge III, Hadaway Ford, Bernie's Transmission Specialist, and Stone's Home Centers.
Absolutely. We're also brought to you by Specialty Auto, Bainbridge DUI School, Dixie Dandy, Southern Harvest Equipment, Mitchell County Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, CNR Parts and Auto Body, South Georgia Motorsports, and Studio Tees.
Studio Tees. And don't forget New South Roofing, Grassy Cuts, Seminole Hydraulics, the law offices of Silvas Ambrose, Linkwist & Co., Westwood Schools, Hills Stump Grinding, and Lane's Medical Shop.
Absolutely. We've got a great show planned for you here on your Tuesday, the second day of the week. Now, a little bit of a programming note here. If anybody cares, this is... This is my last Sack Lunch Show of the week.
Yes.
I'm going to be...
He's going to leave us.
I'm not going to be here the rest of the week, but I know that the show is in good and capable and prepared hands with you, John T.
Puerto Rican power, baby.
And we thought for a minute we were going to get you back home.
Yeah.
Yesterday afternoon.
I almost locked myself in the container. Please take me home to see my peoples.
So some of our partners at K-Love,
right?
Our good friend Mike Rose and the good people over at K-Love,
good folks,
are building a radio station down in Puerto Rico after the hurricanes and earthquakes and all the natural disasters they've had down there. They're working on building a radio station out
that is so
down
cool.
there where they can spread the good word.
Yes.
And so we were here yesterday working to help load that container going to Puerto Rico. And, of course, that's Johnny's
the motherland.
Motherland.
Yeah.
How many generations removed? One or two? Your dad came to Miami from Puerto Rico?
Yes.
Okay, so he was born there.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're like one generation removed, something like that.
One.
Okay.
That's my motherland.
Yeah. So we thought maybe we could sneak Johnny back down there in the container, but
we ran out of crackers and milk, so
we didn't think we'd have enough sustenance to.
Yeah. A little dark in there too.
Yeah.
That's cool though. I thought that was really, 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 really neat that they're gonna get a radio station.
Oh yeah, man.
That's cool. That's cool. Good
folks,
folks, K-Love.
K-Love, they're doing it, man.
Yeah, man. Especially over there. If I would say this: if anybody needs assistance, it's Puerto Rico. They have been smashed the last 2 years. I mean, literally. And there's some places. My uncle was telling me there's some places they haven't even got to yet. It's 2 years removed. Away. I mean, since then. So it's a tough story down there, man. My people's is on the struggle.
We've got a great Sack Lunch Show planned for you here today. Coming up in the news segment, we're going to talk about an escaped inmate. We're going to talk about the Flint River flooding.
Uh-oh.
We're going to talk about a woman who barricaded herself in a bathroom in Tallahassee.
Oh, okay.
And then when we shift gears to the sports segment in the bottom half of the hour,
all right,
we're going to be talking about college basketball.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about Georgia football.
The Knowles last night.
We're going to talk about the Knowles beating Louisville last night down in Tallahassee.
I took a picture of that on my phone just for you.
Yeah. Oh, I watched it.
Did you really?
I watched it last night.
You stayed up that late?
Stayed up to watch it.
I'm amazed.
Go ahead and mark your virtual calendars, if you will, for this Saturday.
Yeah.
From 10 a.m. to noon at the Pelham Huddle House.
Yeah.
Johnny's going to be broadcasting live. Johnny and Al Kell will be broadcasting live from the Pelham Huddle House, where the coolest promotion maybe ever is going on. First of all, half off all the food.
All day.
Now, that ain't because, like, it's old or something. It's like it's a customer appreciation sale, okay?
It's a clearance clear out.
So because they appreciate their customers, they're just running 50% off everything there that day with the exception of ribeye steaks.
Right.
So you can get any other kind of steak, 50% off.
Hey, I'm in.
And, but yeah, the Pelham Huddle House.
Yes,
and
sir.
3 people
3.
are going to win free Huddle House
For a year.
for a year.
Ryan's just trying to tear
Ryan's
up stuff.
all worked up about the free Huddle House. I said free. I said free Huddle House. He started throwing things.
That's the mini Ric Flair. It's Rick's son.
That's this Saturday, the Pelham Huddle House right there on 19 North. Now, next Friday.
Next Friday, yes, sir.
So a week from this Friday, K-Row is putting on a pretty big concert. Tell us all about it.
It is a huge concert. Mr. Ward Davis, recording artist, will be there live and in concert with special guest Tobacco Road. That will be March the 6th in K-Row, Georgia at the Grady Cultural Center. Doors will open at 6 p.m. We will be there from 4 to 6, live there at the door, giving away hugs, T-shirts, and everything else. If you're looking for more ticket information, go to warddavismusic.com or go by the K-Row City office, and they will be glad to help you out there. Tickets are $20 in advance, but $25 at the door, so save that $5 by go ahead and getting it. And if you'll listen to the ride this afternoon, we've got tickets to give away.
We'll also be broadcasting live Saturday, March 14th at Rivertown Days 2020.
I'm excited about that.
That's going to be a big time. Speaking of concerts, Uncle Cracker live on the stage down on the banks of the beautiful Flint River at the Earl May Boat Basin. That's Saturday, March 14th. That's Rivertown Days 2020.
Oh, yeah.
And then Friday, March 20th, the Boots and Roots Rodeo in Donaldsonville.
Yeah.
Saturday, March 28th on Court Square in Blakely. It's Peanut Proud. And then Saturday, April 4th, it's the Thomasville Artifact Show. So plenty going on between now and April. Every weekend.
Every single weekend.
Every weekend between now and April, there's something to do in Southwest Georgia.
And the majority of that stuff is free to the public.
That's right.
That's right.
So,
I like the way you said that. Somebody paid for it, but it's free to you.
Absolutely. 10 Staffel, man. No such thing as a free lunch.
No such thing as a free lunch. You're right.
Somebody's paying for it.
Somebody somewhere is putting the money on it.
Yep.
For sure.
So, yesterday, I did something I never do. Do you do the old, when you walk out of the door, pat your pockets, phone, keys, wallet thing?
Listen, I'm constantly doing it.
Phone, keys, wallet? Or do you go a different way? Do you go like wallet, keys, phone?
I just start, all right, where's my stuff?
I know that I need 3 things.
Yes.
And so if I can feel 3 things,
Yeah, the rest of it I don't care.
I'm good.
Yeah.
And usually those 3 things are going to be my phone, my keys, my wallet. So yesterday I got out of here, like we were talking about just a minute ago, we were loading the shipping container for K-Love. And we kind of got done with that and stood around for a minute. And I said, all right, I'm out of here. I'll see y'all later. Got in my truck and drove home. And if there are any Georgia State Patrol listening out there, just kind of maybe turn your radio down. Because I went all the way home.
Without your wallet.
Without my wallet. And,
done that before.
Yeah. Got all the way home, emptied my pockets, and I'm like, man.
Where's my wallet?
Where's my wallet? It's probably in my truck. Go out there to the truck.
Nowhere.
No wallet.
Then you start sweating.
That's exactly right. I'm like, man.
Ooh, where did I stop last?
I know I had it at Betty's at lunch. And I remember taking my wallet out of my pocket at the table to give my mama some money.
Right.
Did I put it back in my pocket?
Gosh,
Did I leave it on the table at Betty's? And I'm going to tell you something that went through my mind.
My heart starts beating.
I was like, well, at least I was at Betty's. I'm pretty sure if I left my wallet there, that the good folks that eat there would hand it to the good folks that run that place, and I'm not going to have to worry about it.
Right.
Okay? So, go to bed.
Right.
And I dream about it.
Your wallets. You left me at work.
In my dream, somebody got it.
Oh.
And they were spending my money. Not that there's very much of it. Clubbing. Like I checked my online banking in my dream. I logged on to First National's website, checked my online banking, and there's all these pending charges at like
your credit card's going.
at literally. These are some of the places. See if these ring a bell to you. Okay,
right.
they may or may not. At Chubby's in Tallahassee,
I know where Chubby's is.
the Late Night Library
What?
in Tallahassee,
I've been there.
and there was one more,
Lord.
AJ's in Tallahassee, all of which are closed now.
Oh my God.
So for whatever reason, subconsciously, the person in my brain that stole my wallet was spending
Hey, we
what
club
little
it.
money I have
Yeah.
at closed
Closed clubs.
clubs in Tallahassee.
Yeah, in your dream. We got $5 left. Let's go to AJ.
Swipe it.
Swipe
it. Yeah.
You know what? Like that's very indicative of the people over at Betty's. When you feel that safe.
Well, see, that was the
You know
funny
what I
thing.
mean?
Like, I went to bed comforted, knowing
Right.
that if I left my wallet at Betty's, everything was
Right.
going to be fine.
Right.
But for whatever reason, in my mind, as I was sleeping,
Your
I
subconscious.
lost it at like a gas station.
You lost it at AJ.
You know.
Back in that 20s.
Yeah. And so, long story short, I wake up this morning, look around for my wallet again.
It's no way.
Man, I can't find it. And keep in mind, like, we're traveling this week.
I know.
I'm going to need my wallet.
Yeah, I was going to say, you might want to hold on to that.
And so I had to drive all the way to work.
Worried.
The only money I had was a $5 bill.
No Cliff Bar today.
And no, I still stopped and
Did
got
you?
my Cliff Bar and my Diet Coke.
All I got's $1.
And I get to work, walk in my office, and my wallet is sitting right there on my desk. And I literally did the
Yeah.
celebration, like 2 hands in the air, like, yes!
Ric Flair, baby. Woo!
Because I was fully expecting to have to, like,
Ryan just snuck in with a.
yeah. Thankfully, my wallet was fine.
Right.
I left it here on my desk when I
Yes.
left work yesterday.
That's the feeling of just, yes! Oh, man, I love it. When while you lift your hands and say that, I was coming off the interstate going to Jalen's this past weekend, and this little kid, he's probably 10, maybe 9.
He was
He's got
driving?
No, he was in the back. He's in the back of a motorcycle with his dad. His dad's got music blaring. He's got a little Spider-Man helmet on. And he turns off the interstate, and I'm behind him. I got it on video. I showed it to you, and he does like this. Woo! Both of his hands up. That gives me, the rocker sign, and he is jamming out. And I pulled up next to him, rolled the window down, and I told the man, I said, that right there made my day. The little kid was just, yeah, right, rocking on. He had a little Spider-Man helmet on, his Spider-Man Velcro shoes. Oh, dude, it was great. I said, man, I wish I was him. That age, no caring in the world, throwing your hands up, rock and roll signs on the back of a motorcycle with your Spider-Man helmet. Living the dream.
It's time now for your Southwest Georgia area news, driven by Action GM on Highway 84 East in Bainbridge, where you can save $8,000 on a new Yukon right now. A Yukon Denali, too, and boy, is it sharp.
8,000.
Action GM, Southwest Georgia's favorite neighbor.
Yes.
All right, so we had an escaped inmate for a little while yesterday.
Okay.
Speaking of me eating lunch at Betty's, so on the way back, no, this would have been after lunch.
Right.
This was mid-afternoon. I was coming from the same direction.
Okay.
But I'm on my way back to the radio station yesterday afternoon.
Right.
And I see 2 Decatur County Sheriff's vehicles with their lights on, hauling you-know-what out Dothan Road.
Gone.
And I'm like, man, what in the world? You don't see that often. For
Right.
2 of them to be back-to-back, like
Right.
something
Yeah.
bad has happened, right?
If you see 2, there's something going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out there was an escaped inmate. He walked away from a work detail. Patrick Webb, Bradford Patrick Webb, walked away from a work detail and for a short while was missing until about 4 p.m. yesterday when he was captured. The Decatur County Sheriff's Office and other law enforcement agencies immediately responded to the area near Newton Road where Bradford Patrick Webb walked away from a work detail, and shortly thereafter.
Wow.
So this email came in around 2:30 yesterday. At 4 p.m. he was captured. So
Got him.
what started out as a really dramatic news story,
Right.
and that is an inmate has escaped from a work detail,
Never want to hear that.
ended quickly
Yes.
as he was quickly apprehended by local law enforcement.
I have to say something about our law enforcement. They're pretty on. They're pretty on point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
They'll get you.
good. Yeah, they will. They will. They're very good. Esquivel, Jordan.
Yeah.
Our Investigator Jordan.
Yeah.
They do good, Jordan.
Yeah, the good folks at Bainbridge Public Safety and the Decatur County Sheriff's Office, they'll take good care of you.
Right.
All right, this story is just a weather alert from the National Weather Service. The flood warning continues for the Flint River. We are going to continue to watch the river rise for the rest of the week, as we are currently at 8:45 p.m. last night, actually, at 24.3 feet.
24.3 feet.
Flooding stage is 25 feet. So as of last night, we weren't quite to flood stage, but we are expected to get there today. The river is forecast to rise above flood stage this afternoon and to continue to rise to near 28 feet by Friday morning. Now, at 28 feet, we are still considered in a minor flood stage, okay?
25, I think
25 is flood stage. 28 is where we're expected to get to. 29 is where you'll start to see impacts to, like, for example, the state docks and those types of areas.
Start getting a little covered.
When you start to get close to 30 feet is when neighborhoods will be impacted.
Yep.
So we're at 24 today,
expected
to get just over 25 today and to rise all the way throughout the week until Friday, where it is expected to get to 28 feet. But so far, nobody is talking about the river reaching 29 or 30 feet. Now, it's still possible that could change because all it takes is a rain system to move through. I mean, we had rain last night,
almost all night.
So it's possible that this 28 number is surpassed.
Right.
But right now they're forecasting the river to get to 28 feet on Friday, which would keep it in that minor flood stage.
Right.
So like Cheney Griffin would be flooded. You know, maybe minor flooding at the boat basin and that type of thing.
Yeah. Creek for sure.
Yeah, but no neighborhoods or anything like that yet are forecast to be impacted by the flood.
So we ended up with 38 feet when it flooded last time, right?
Well, 94 was like 38, 37 or something like that.
I thought that's what it was.
2009, I think we reached 30 feet.
Yeah.
I think that's right. We had those numbers yesterday, and I don't have them in front of me today, but I want to say it was like 29.91 or 30.91
I just
in
remember
2009.
Yeah, I just remember the worst one we had. I was probably in late 20s, early 30s, and they were that whole not Flint River, the Faceville area, all that works on.
Now, are you talking about 94?
Yes.
Okay, 94 was the worst, obviously.
Yeah.
98 was bad as well.
Yeah.
And then
I just remember it all out in the neighborhoods at 38 feet, and I thought, man, this is a lot of water.
Yeah, it's a lot of water.
Y'all might want to leave.
Yep.
Get out of your house.
This story from Adel and ValdostaToday.com. On Thursday, February 20th, the arrest warrants were issued for the murder of Quentin Payne and Cody Robinson. 3 teenagers were charged with 2 counts of felony murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault. Now, there's a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 19-year-old involved here. I'm just going to, just for simplicity's sake, I'm going to leave all 3 names out.
Yeah, might as well.
But the bottom line is 3 teenage boys have been charged with 2 counts of felony murder each. On Tuesday, December 31st, the GBI received a request from the Adel Police Department to assist with a death investigation. The Adel Police Department had received a 911 call reporting a shooting. That afternoon, responding officers found 34-year-old Quentin Payne deceased with gunshot wounds, and 29-year-old Cody Robinson was transported to the hospital where he later died. They were later determined to be shot to death, obviously with gunshot wounds, but, they did an autopsy there at the GBI Medical Examiner's Office in Macon, determined, the final official cause of death type deal. The investigation was declared active and ongoing until this week when 3 teenagers were charged with murder in that shooting case in Adel.
I did a class one time over in California when I was in the ministry, and one of the things that one of the instructors was telling me, said the worst thing in the world is an adolescent, angry at the world teenager. He said that's the worst thing you get. He said that is the main cause of, in California, of course not in Bainbridge, in California, of most of the homicides are by kids that are under 20. I'm like, come on, guys. Ain't nobody hitting baseballs anymore. I mean, y'all ain't. What happened to the Cub Scouts? I mean, you get a little chafed, but you still go hiking. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. Why? No, I think I'm going to shoot each other. Yeah, that sounds more fun. Nah, I don't like that.
Well, this story starts on the crazy end.
On the crazy train end.
Okay. It
right.
ends up okay,
Okay.
but it starts crazy.
Anything that starts crazy and ends okay, I'm good.
Let me just get started here.
All
From
right, go ahead.
WCTV, the Tallahassee Police Department says that a woman was detained Monday afternoon after she brought a BB gun into the Kirkland store on Governor Square Boulevard.
I want that mirror.
Yeah, you know Kirkland.
Yeah, I know where Kirkland is. Yeah, I know Kirkland very well.
According to police, a woman walked into the store with a BB gun, which witnesses told police looked like a rifle, and barricaded herself inside one of the store's bathrooms. Customers were forced to evacuate, according to police. This happened around 2:30. Around 2:49, the scene was declared clear and safe, and the store was reopened for business. No one was hurt in the incident. Now, the way this story is worded, it makes it sound like, well, it says the woman was detained by police.
Okay.
So it sounds like it's possible that they initially responded thinking this was a really dangerous event. Once they got on the scene, realized that it was probably more along the lines of some sort of medical emergency, something
so.
like that. But the bottom line is, can you imagine how terrified the people in the store were when they see a person walk in with what looks to be a rifle?
Right. And I'm telling you, these days and times, I'm surprised somebody didn't, knock her out. You know what I mean? I was like...
Or pull a gun and shoot her.
You know what I'm saying? You guys got to be careful. I want this mirror.
Yeah. Well, I don't...
You know what I mean? That's crazy.
Yeah. Thankfully, it sounds like this story ends with nobody being hurt.
Well, that's good.
The woman with the gun,
the
people in the store, nobody got hurt.
I mean,
thankfully.
You mess around, and, there have been cases where kids were playing around with fake guns and got killed because they're,
Yeah, they look real.
Yeah, they all look
treat
real.
every gun like it's
loaded.
Yeah.
I do, every time.
Hey, coming up after the break, we're going to be talking about Kirby Smart's latest hire in Athens. We'll be talking men's basketball and more. It's the Sack Lunch Show. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 1037 on your Tuesday, February 25th. It's time now for your sports, brought to you by Yates Concrete, making concrete sexy for 3 generations. Well, Florida State did it.
They did.
They went out and beat Louisville last night at home, and not only did they beat them,
They was pretty handy.
they spanked them in the second half.
Sure
and let me
did.
just go ahead and say this, Johnny. I'm just going to go ahead and speak for
Speak it.
Florida State fans across the fruited plain
Preach it.
of the United States, maybe even the world. There are Florida State fans all around this world. Go Noles, absolutely. There you go. That's part of the reason I like Ryan. Let me just go ahead and say this.
Say it.
For every Florida State fan that woke up this morning and remembered that Florida State had a big basketball game at home against Louisville last night and went to ESPN's website to see plastered on the front page, of maybe just the basketball tab.
Right.
Maybe not on ESPN.com,
Right.
but on the NCAA men's basketball tab. You went there to read the game story because it was a big game, and you wanted to see the final score, and you wanted to see who scored and what all these details, and couldn't find it.
It wasn't on there? What?
Those of you that are like me that went to ESPN.com and clicked on NCAA M
Men's basketball.
to read the Florida State Louisville game story and couldn't find it.
There wasn't nothing?
Still
No.
not. Looking at it now. Nothing.
It's not there.
Really?
You know why it's not there? Because ESPN stinks.
Because curb.
The game was on ESPN last night.
I mean,
They broadcast it.
They did. I watched it. I can't believe that. That's sad.
It's still not there, Ryan?
No.
He's on the website right
I'm
now.
on it.
Let me call Mr. ESPN right now.
Tell me why, Johnny. Tell me why. This was the biggest game in the ACC,
Right.
at least.
And in basketball,
week.
ACC is a powerhouse. So why not?
Let me read you this sentence from the game story that I had to go to the scores tab and then click on Florida State and then go to their individual page to find this game story. That's typically where you find Florida State football stories these days.
Yeah, right.
Typically, the Florida State football stories aren't on the home page anymore
Did you find
because
it?
they're not any good.
Yeah, I know.
But
The
the Florida
game-
State basketball team is really good.
Right.
And you can't even find the information. I'm going to read you this,
On a high end,
this
though, too.
sentence real quick. The Seminoles quickly regrouped and mounted a surge to defend their floor and move atop the Atlantic Coast Conference for now.
That's it. That's all they
Did you hear what I just
Oh, yeah,
read?
yeah, for now.
And move atop the Atlantic Coast Conference for now.
Boy, they don't give y'all no credit. That's sad.
Florida State is 24-4.
Yeah, they should be on
They've
every
beaten
broadcast.
Louisville twice.
Yeah.
They've been ranked in the top 10 for 2 months.
Just about all season, hasn't it?
What were you going to say, Ryan?
I was gonna say that's an AP paper
Story?
story.
So
it's not
ESPN,
even ESPN.
didn't even write it.
No, they didn't.
What a lame-o. Who's in charge of ESPN? Do we need to start a riot?
Look, every fan base
I know.
thinks ESPN hates their team. And you know what? It's not true. ESPN does not hate everybody's team. They
Right.
can't,
No,
right? You
they
know? But
They love Ohio State.
it was a failure
Yeah, it was.
on whoever is in charge
Drop the
of
ball.
the basketball coverage
Right.
to not have this on the front page of at least the basketball tab.
And it's a Monday night game. What else is going on?
Let me just go ahead and put it to you this way. If this was Duke,
Oh gosh, they'd have printed up T-shirts.
they'd be calling them national
Yeah.
champs.
Be calling Studio Tees to make you T-shirts for that game.
Florida State is number 1 in the ACC in the rankings.
Right.
We're not talking about week 2 where they beat somebody
Yeah.
and nobody else has won a game yet,
Right.
or week 6 where they had 4
Right.
games against the lower tier competition in the
Say they're
conference.
15-4.
They are 24-4.
24-4.
14-3 in conference. They own the best conference record. They've now beat Louisville twice by double digits both times.
At once at home and once here.
Their losses on the year are to Duke
Okay.
on the road,
Right.
Pitt on the road, the
Okay.
very first conference game of the year.
Right.
Actually, might have been the very first game of the year. It was really, really
Right.
early in the season.
Did they play Baylor yet?
They lost to Indiana in the ACC Big Ten Challenge at the beginning of the year.
season, yeah.
And then they lost one more conference game. I want to say they lost that conference game to like Clemson or somebody like that earlier in the year or something.
Right.
The bottom line is they have the best record in the best conference in college basketball. It is Tuesday, February 25th.
Right.
It's almost March.
Right.
And they are not getting any respect from the national media. This is a top 10 Florida State team that just beat Louisville by 15 points.
And Louisville's in the top 10 too, wasn't he?
Louisville was number one in the ACC before that game last night.
That's what I thought. Man.
I think that other game was Virginia. And they
Virginia.
lost by 5.
That's right. The reigning national champions.
Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a shame to lose.
On the
to the
road.
reigning national champs.
Right.
On the road.
Yeah.
Who do we need to talk to? Who do we need to call?
Louisville dominated Florida State in the first half. They were hitting all sorts of crazy shots. I think they shot like 50% from the field in the first half.
Wow.
52% from the field in the first half.
Right.
Now, Florida State's defense kind of clamped down in the second half.
Put the claw.
And outscored them 50-27 in the second half.
What?
At one point, Florida State was down by 12
Good grief.
in the second half. They ended up winning the game by 15.
Yeah. This is when I caught it last night. I was sitting there watching it. It was 62-55.
They went on a 15-0 run to take that lead that you saw right there.
At 8:23, at 8:32 left in the game, they were up 62-55. They should have been. Man, I would be mad too.
Let me tell you something.
Be furious.
Florida State is going to make a run in the
Yeah, I think
ACC and NCAA tournament. They're coming now. Keep in mind, we're not talking about a basketball team that is, that success just doesn't come very often to.
Yeah.
They're fresh off of a Sweet 16 run last year, an Elite 8 run the year before that, a round of 32 run the year before that. They've made multiple Sweet 16s. They won the ACC tournament back in 2012. Like Leonard Hamilton has been, he's brought an actual track record of success
Finally
to the Florida State basketball team.
Right.
And they're not getting any respect for it. Nationally.
I wonder if it's that they haven't got any. That there haven't been. They don't run that. I mean, I don't understand why.
Florida State has won 24 games this year. That's the second year in a row they've won 24 games. They went 29-8 last year.
Wow.
29-8. That means they won almost 30 games, Johnny.
I don't get it.
They drew 11,500 fans to the Donald L. Tucker Center last night. It was packed. Did you watch the game?
100%.
I saw clips.
It was packed.
Right.
When I went to school at Florida State, I graduated in 2008.
You could buy a ticket and sit anywhere.
You absolutely could.
I know.
Nobody went to the basketball games. You know why? Because the team stunk.
Yeah. But now when they're better, I mean, come on, give them a little.
Now they're selling out the whole Civic Center. They're making Sweet 16 runs every other year.
Yeah.
You're beating the blue bloods of college basketball. They are 60, after last night's game, 64-3 in their last 67 home games. I want you to think about that for a second.
That's a lot of
They're
wins.
64-3.
That's a long time. That's a lot of games.
In their last 67 home games, Florida State, which plays 45 minutes south of us down here,
not far.
They're 64-3.
Not bad.
I want you to point to any other team in any other sport that has a better winning percentage over their last 67 home games. I'll wait. Go look at Alabama's football home schedule.
Yeah.
See how many games they've lost out of their last 67.
It's more than 4.
Go look at Clemson. Go look at Duke's home court record in basketball.
Right. Yeah.
Florida State beats Louisville at home last night to earn another top 10 victory.
I kind of wish I would have went last night.
Putting them atop of the ACC standings, and it does not even warrant. It doesn't even warrant
high five or nothing.
There's also
a clickable link on the little other news tab.
They also have a 22 home win streak.
22 games in a row.
Longest active streak in the ACC.
And no credit. My word. Jesus, take the wheel at ESPN.
I'm just telling you, man, they dropped the ball.
They did.
All pun intended.
Dropped the ball, and Florida State stole it and scored.
Now,
Still don't get no credit.
Now, one story that was easy to find on ESPN today,
What's that?
for good reason,
Okay.
was that Scott Cochran has been hired at the University of Georgia. Now, you say Scott Cochran, who is that? He was Alabama's strength and conditioning coach.
Lord, he is swiping them from over there, ain't he?
He was Alabama's strength and conditioning coach since 2007.
Woo. Wow.
What has Bama been known for under Nick Saban?
The run.
Being bigger, stronger, and faster.
Yes.
It starts with the guys they recruit.
Yep.
They get them into that strength program, and their guys, I don't even know, are they even using like legal techniques? I don't know. All I can tell you is they are bigger and stronger and faster than just about everybody they play, and Scott Cochran was part of the reason. He's the strength coach. He's been there since 2007.
And all of their running backs at Alabama are huge.
Kirby Smart just hired him.
Yeah.
And now he's the special teams coordinator in Athens. I said it this morning on Bull in the Ring. I don't know whether or not Scott Cochran can coach special teams. I've never seen him coach special teams. He's always just been the strength coach.
Yeah, leave him there.
But I do know that he is one of the most electric personalities in college football that's not a coach. Just go to YouTube.
Really?
When you get a second, when we go to break here in just a minute, I want you to go to YouTube
His name is Scott
and
Cochran?
type in Scott Cochran.
Okay.
Bulldogs coach Kirby Smart said, ask anyone who's been around him. Scott's passion and energy is contagious. Special teams coordinator is a great fit as he'll be working with all position groups.
Good.
His knowledge and experience elevates our entire program, and we're excited to welcome the Cochran family to Athens. Coach Nick Saban said that Cochran had, quote, been looking for a new career path. In other words, Cochran wanted to be a on-the-field coach.
Yeah.
Saban didn't want him
do that.
to be an on-the-field coach, so Kirby gave him the opportunity. I'm going to talk more about that when we come back from this break because
That's cool. I like that.
let me tell you something.
Georgia's
I've been hard on Kirby Smart, but
He putting it together.
he's made some good moves in the offseason.
Definitely putting it together.
This is the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 10:58 on your Tuesday, February 25th. I told you before the break that I wanted to talk about the big picture as it relates to Kirby Smart and his hire of Scott Cochran, the former strength coach from the University of Alabama, who, according to our intern, Ryan, can we come up with a different title for you, Ryan?
I really wish you would.
What should we change the moniker to instead of intern Ryan? How would you like to be referred to?
Al's mini-me.
Producer. According to our producer, Ryan.
Right.
By the way, you can watch the show live on YouTube.
Yes.
We live today, Ryan?
We are.
We are live thanks to the internet.
Hello.
According to our producer, Ryan, Scott Cochran was not even allowed to speak to the University of Alabama players before he left.
That's reportedly. Sounds like it.
Sounds to me like Nick Saban wasn't very happy.
Nick was not pleased with that.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, well, I mean, when is he happy? I want my game at 9. You know what I mean?
Scott Cochran was the strength coach, and according to Saban, quote, was looking for a new career path. Now, the word is that Kirby was cool with Cochran being an on-the-field coach.
Right.
Obviously, he was. He made him the special teams coordinator.
Yeah.
Obviously, if that's what Cochran wanted to do, Saban wasn't willing to offer that because he didn't give him that opportunity.
Right.
He let him walk. He said, no problem. You've been my strength coach since 2007, but I'm not going to make you an on-the-field coach. If you want to do that, you can go join Kirby in Athens, and that's exactly what he did.
He said, "You got U-Hauls at the house now. What we talking to you?"
Saban told ESPN he wanted to get on the field coaching and would like one day, I think, to be a head coach. We didn't really have anything here to offer him along those lines, and Georgia did. I understand him wanting to take on that path.
And see, that makes me mad with Saban, because if you've got a guy that's been dedicated to you since 2007, find him somewhere to put him somewhere.
As good as Scott was for us here as our head strength coach, it's probably best for him and best for us if he's able to do there at Georgia what he wants to do now with his career.
Boy, Saban's mean. I wonder if he buys Christmas presents.
Look, if Nick Saban don't want to make the man a special teams coordinator,
find him something.
Fine, whatever. But that's not where I want to go with this.
All right.
Kirby Smart has taken some criticism from me specifically.
Right.
We'll start with the hire he made at offensive coordinator last year.
Okay.
When Kirby Smart hired, never been a good play caller. Look at how bogged down the University of Georgia offense was this past year.
Oh, man.
And it's not because they didn't have the players.
No, it ain't the talent, that's for sure.
You can make your excuses about, well, the wide receivers were young or this or they lost all these. No. The problem was your play caller.
Yes.
Now,
I agree.
Kirby apparently listens to the Sack Lunch Show.
Yeah.
Because he immediately went out and hired a new play caller.
You're welcome, Kirby.
You did it?
Yeah, we did it.
Y'all did.
Yeah.
He went out and hired Monken from the NFL, who was the Cleveland Browns offensive coordinator.
That's right. I remember that.
And had previously been the offensive coordinator at Tampa with the Buccaneers. Now,
that's the guy you want.
He goes out and makes a move there to improve the offensive play calling.
Right.
He also goes out and hires Scott Cochran to be his special teams coordinator. Now, kickers have not been a problem in Athens.
No.
Rodrigo Blankenship has been really, really good.
Yeah, he's been dead on.
One of the best.
Yeah,
they've been a good punt and kick return team for the most part. Coverages have been fine.
Didn't he win the kicker award, or was it
the Groza, the Lou Groza Award? I think he did 2 years ago. I don't think he won it last year. I may have that wrong. But the bottom line is, I don't know that they necessarily were looking for improvement in the kicking game.
Special teams, right.
But where they needed improvement as a whole was the elimination of the staleness.
Yeah.
So here's where Kirby Smart has done something that other coaches have failed to do.
Right.
I'm going to give you an example. Jimbo Fisher.
Okay.
Jimbo Fisher won a national championship in Tallahassee with Florida State.
Right.
He then failed to capitalize
he did.
on that national championship. He became complacent with his hires, with his
Right,
assistants,
right.
and things eventually went downhill.
Right.
Florida State peaked
Yep.
and then came back down.
Right.
My fear for the University of Georgia has been that they had already peaked in 2017
At the national championship.
when they almost won the national championship game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since then, they have gone downhill. I don't
Right.
care how you want to define it. You just look at how the season ended
Right.
in 2018 and 2019.
Right.
They didn't win the SEC championship game
Didn't make it to the
in
playoffs.
either of those years. They didn't go to the playoff. Now, they had a fine year,
Oh, they had a great year.
but if you look at all this on a line graph,
Right.
or what is it? Which one am I looking for?
The
one,
fishing report.
Yeah, that's a line graph.
the line graph, the one that shows achievements by year. 2017 is going to be the tallest.
Yeah, there's your roof.
Yeah.
And then 2018 and 19 are going to be slightly lower.
Little
They're
decline.
your projection is going the wrong way.
Little decline.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kirby evidently was not satisfied with the way things ended in 2018 and
Right.
2019. And not only did he improve the situation in Athens
He sure did.
going forward,
Yep.
but he has now taken another piece of the puzzle away from Nick Saban. By the way, let me
I know
ask
he's hating live.
let me ask you a question. If you look at it objectively,
All right.
which team is best poised to win the SEC East in 2020?
Georgia.
Georgia.
Which team was best poised at the end of the 2019 season? What team do you think had the best momentum, had the most momentum towards winning that division at the end of the season?
LSU.
No, the
I
East.
mean, East.
Florida.
Florida, yeah.
Florida
Think so?
finished the highest they've finished ranked in years.
Man, I got sick when you
Number 6 overall in
Right.
the final rankings, I think it was.
said, 6 or 9, I think. Wasn't it 6 or 9? I don't know.
It was top 10.
Yeah, top 10.
Mullen had things rolling
He did.
in Gainesville, and it kind of looked like things were a little shaky in Athens.
Yep.
Instead of just kind of sitting back and hoping that
Right.
Kirby goes out and gets a grad transfer quarterback.
Sure
He
did.
brings in a grad transfer tight end.
Yep.
And
Coaching replacements. And
he's replacing offensive coordinators. He's bringing in Scott Cochran, who, if you don't know who Scott Cochran is, just Google him. Just
Son.
go to YouTube.
he had me all excited.
He was the heart
That's what the man just said.
of the Alabama team.
What'd he
Now, Nick Saban is the head.
He's the head.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if the Alabama football team is a body, Nick Saban is the head. He's
Right.
the brain. He's the
Right.
mouth. He's the,
Yeah.
a little bit, the ears. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how much he's listening, but he's the head. You got other coaches that might be your arm. Like Steve Sarkisian may be the left arm.
Left arm,
You know
right.
what I mean? And,
Right.
and all these other coaches, the support staff, they're the
Right.
fingers and the toes and all
Exactly.
that. Scott Cochran was the heart of the Alabama football team. And Kirby Smart literally just ripped it out
I like it.
and brought it with him to Athens. Now
Ripped
he's
your
gonna
heart
have
out.
to he's gonna have to be a heart, and he's also gonna have to be an arm of some sort in
Yeah.
Athens, because now he's the special teams coordinator.
He's got dual job responsibility. I think the dude can do it just by watching his video. That's an intense brother.
Yeah.
He is. I mean, he had me wanting to work out right now. I'm like, man, I feel like lifting his chair.
Alabama.com says this is war.
Oh,
Yeah, they said
this is
Kirby
war.
Smart stealing Scott Cochran in SEC act of war.
Nice.
Well,
The battle lines have been drawn.
if you're curious as to who else might have thought about this, Lane Kiffin wanted to hire him in an on-the-field coaching role at Ole Miss.
Oh.
So we know what Lane Kiffin will do to win just about anything,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so he knew how valuable. So Lane Kiffin, former offensive coordinator at Alabama,
right?
knew how valuable Scott Cochran was to that program.
Yeah,
He wanted him at Ole Miss.
Gee.
The prior relationship that Kirby and Cochran had when Kirby was at Alabama
right.
evidently
Was
won,
a little bit better.
because one thing I read was that they were best friends.
Right.
And so he's now
Right.
he won that. So imagine that that University of Alabama is Russia in is Germany in World War II. Okay, they're now fighting a battle on multiple fronts. They're being attacked from the east
And the West.
and the west. And not only have they been, invading these other little smaller countries to try to gain an advantage, they've now made the mistake of fighting Russia in the cold of winter.
Right. In
You know what I mean?
Siberia.
The University of Georgia, in my example here, if you're not following, is Russia, right? They know how to fight this battle, and
Here
they've
they
gone
come.
out and gotten they've gotten Hitler's best general. So it comes with all the insider information, and he's really good at his job.
He's a local spy.
So they're going to let him help fight Germany.
Right. He is the.
Okay.
And
Now I don't know who the United States is going to be in my example. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's. I don't think it's Ole Miss.
no.
Auburn. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be Auburn.
It's
Yeah.
Auburn.
We're coming at you. I think that he's probably been wanting to hire this kid for a while because evidently it's hard to stay with Saban since, from what I understand, Saban's a hard guy to work for, but from 2007 to now, and Saban couldn't find him, say, hey, man, we love you here. You've been a great asset.
Well, if you don't want to do it, fine. I don't care what Nick Saban did. All I'm saying is Kirby Smart made the right move. Hello,
he
caller.
sure
Are you
did.
there?
Yeah, I'm still here, but y'all don't need to count Bama out. That was just another one to go down. Look at all the little coaches that's come around and made head coaches. Saban don't just make the team; he makes coaches too.
Well, I will agree with you.
Yeah, me too.
You can't
Look
count
at Kirby,
Alabama
look
out,
at Kirby, look at all of them, but don't ever count Bama out.
but you can't keep losing valuable pieces and
Yeah.
expect to not take a hit. That's where I'm going with that.
Oh yeah. I mean, a lot of you Bama folks who done got to where they won't even. There's a place in the mall here in Dothan, and they didn't even have bowl game shirts. Bowl game.
Wow.
And I said, why? They said, well, it's not a big enough bowl.
Oh.
Hey, I know when it's time to down. You be proud of whatever bowl you win.
That's right. As a
You see
Florida
what I'm
State fan,
saying?
trust me, I completely understand.
Yeah, right.
Hey, we appreciate the phone call. Hey, listen, Bama's going to be just fine.
Oh, they always are going to be fine.
Oh, they will. They will. I understand, but you got to let go of some of the fans who's just letting it go to their head that we can't be beat. That's
Right.
not right.
That's
That's
right.
right.
You're right.
I've been there when we was lucky to get a game.
Amen, brother. Hey, we appreciate you. Where you at in Alabama?
I'm in Headland. Between Headland and Columbia, I'm about 10 miles from the Georgia line, but I listen to y'all. My radio's set on there in my car and my truck. I listen to
Man.
y'all all the time.
Brother, I appreciate it. What was your name again?
My name's Greg Rubel. I enjoy y'all jamming with Jesus, man. I enjoy your scriptures and all too.
Thanks, man.
Thank
And
you,
it-
Greg.
Appreciate it, man. Have a good day. Be careful, man. Stay out that rain.
I think he must have gone into a bad spot. We
Okay.
lost him.
We lost.
Our buddy Heath at South Georgia Outdoors just texted me, and he says,
What up, Heath?
all about the dogs, buddy.
Rup, rup.
Hey, listen, let me tell you something.
I'm proud of Kirby.
Alabama's going to be fine,
They will. They always are.
but Kirby Smart,
It's
made
just going
a-
to be a little bit finer.
smart move.
I'm glad he did it. That just
There's your headline.
shows the hungry.
Smart move.
Smart move.
Smart move.
There you go.
It's the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 11:19 on your Tuesday, February 25th. We are presented by David White and the gang at Cook's Appliance Services, the Bonnie Blue House, Dean Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, H&R Block in Bainbridge, Donaldsonville, and Blakely, ABAC at Bainbridge, Stewart Auto Parts, B3 Property Management, United Rentals, and the Nomad Nurse.
And don't forget Bill Payne, attorneys at law, Brownlee Glass Company, Carter's Fried Chicken, Homer the D-Bone, Dr. Homer Breckenridge III, Hadaway Ford, Bernie's Transmission Specialist, and Stone's Home Center.
We're also brought to you by Specialty Auto, Bainbridge DUI School, Dixie Dandy, Southern Harvest Equipment, Mitchell County, Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram, CNR Parts and Auto Body, and South Georgia Motorsports.
And don't forget New South Roofing, Grassy Cuts, Seminole Hydraulics, the law offices of Silvus Ambrose, Linkwist & Co., Spring Creek Meat and Sausage Company, Westwood Schools, Hill Stump Grinding, and Lane's Medical Shop.
Absolutely. It's now time for our favorite portion of the show. It's now time for Tell Me Something Good, brought to you by the law office of Silvus Ambrose, Linkwist & Co.
Well, we have four men in here. Well, we had four left. Three of us which have children. I hope you ain't got no kids, do you, Ryan? That you know of? Okay, good. Anyway, how hard is it for you to get your kids to eat their vegetables?
My kids?
All right, yeah.
My kids, actually, believe it or not, Henry will eat vegetables and fruit before he'll eat meat right now.
Really?
Like, it's the weirdest. I understand this won't last.
yeah.
This won't last. But, like, right now, he'll eat all his fruit and vegetables and then won't eat the meat. And I'm like, come on, buddy, eat the chicken.
Yeah.
Nah, I want some more fruit.
Right. Well,
You know. So, but now Sadie, on the other hand, she pretty much is like a bird. You know, she eats
we
like,
just put her some seed
like
down.
a little bit here, a little bit there, unless it's something sweet.
Right. Well, here's something that I thought was pretty interesting, and this is for all you parents out there struggling. It can be quite a struggle for parents to get stubborn children to eat their vegetables, which is why generations of them have come with up and coming creative methods and sneaky nutritional ways into their kids' diet. It's a survey done of 2,000 parents with children under 18 have declared parenting as a win when they get them to eat their vegetables. Here's a crazy percentage. Whenever their children requested a healthy snack, 53% said another win for their parent. I guess that's what they're saying. These wins could arguably be the most satisfying for parents, too, because 55% of respondents agreed getting their children to eat healthy food was difficult. Now, I have to disagree with that because mine, Jalen would get up in the morning at, 13, 14 and eat a whole plate of broccoli for breakfast. I said, well, the kid sitting next to you is not going to like it, but hey, it's okay. But like I said, on the other side of that, my other son, Jonah, he'd eat 95 Pop-Tarts and drink a jar of jelly. So conducted on one poll on behalf of the Pirate, this is called the Pirates Booty for National Snack Food Month. Pirates Booty for National Snack Food Month. I don't know where that came from, but all right. 55% of respondents said that they employed the stealth health technique to help them maintain at least 21% of vegetables to be eaten during their kids' meal. All right, here's 10 sneaky ways, and I'm going to read them real quick. Number one, allowing your children to help cook meals so they will become more likely to eat them. Number two, let your child pick up their own healthy snacks. Do they even know if that snack's healthy or not? And I don't know. Let your child pick a few meals for their family to have each week. Only letting your children eat dessert if they finish their vegetables, which I've done that before. Switching the packaging, which I've heard that being done. Switching the packaging from unhealthy snack to a healthy snack. That's pretty intense. Bribing, I don't like this one. Bribing your child to eat their vegetables with a treat from somewhere else. That sounds kind of oxymoron, but letting your child put a little ketchup on things they don't like so they will eat them. Using one more bite rule over and over to get your child to finish their vegetables. Buying snacks with characters for your children likes, like I guess the little Disney snacks or whatever. And the last one, making faces with food so your child will be entertained.
Kind of on the side of your mic there.
Went on the side.
Johnny got all messed up.
I got on
reading.
Right. Making faces with the food so your child will be entertained and be more likely to eat that. How about the good old-fashioned way? You ain't getting up till you eat.
Yeah, we do the.
I mean, that's pretty simple.
we do the one more bite method.
Yeah.
We do the, every parent has done the you can't have the dessert till,
Right.
I say that. Most parents do the you can't have your
Right.
dessert till you've eaten
Right.
enough of whatever type of thing. And we bribe. Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what, if you'll go ahead and eat the rest of that, I'll give you a cookie.
Right. There's a crisp dollar. What's your name?
No, we don't bribe with money. We bribe with food.
With other
So
food.
if you want a cookie, if you'll eat the rest of those peas, I'll give you a cookie.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Sorry, up like a vacuum.
And then with Henry, we use the ketchup method.
He likes ketchup.
Oh, yeah.
I love ketchup.
Yeah, you asked him what he had for lunch. I had chicken nuggets and bananas and ketchup.
2 packets.
Yeah, I mean, so we do all of those to try to get our kids, and
Right.
it still, only works about half the time.
Right. I mean, we never did really have to bribe Jalen, of course, and Jocelyn, she was a pretty decent eater. It was that, Jonah, if I put a plate of Skittles just in a bowl and put a plate of, freshly cooked broccoli casserole, that's the best thing on the planet. Jonah wouldn't even touch it.
Well, I can tell you this much. As an adult, the only way I avoid eating junk food is not having it in the house.
True.
Now, I'm not telling you how you should or shouldn't live
Right.
your life. If you want to eat junk food, eat all you want. I don't care.
Right.
But at our house, when I decided that I wanted to eat fewer Pop-Tarts, guess what I did?
Bought
I
less Pop-Tarts.
quit buying Pop-Tarts. So,
Well, Jalen's the same way, too. If I go to visit him, it's all, grass and tree bark at his house. There's no, even the bread's like, you can't just buy regular bread, Jalen. So I mess him up every time I go over there. I bring like 4 dozen donuts, cookies. Hey, we're going to party now. You just throw them all. And Jalen loves it. But Hannah, she don't, his wife, she's like, well, we really don't need all those snacks. Jalen's like,
part of the reason why I don't buy cookies, like I don't buy Oreos,
you'll eat them all.
is I'll eat all the Oreos.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
I just don't buy them. I mean,
And a double stuffed Oreo?
I love an Oreo. I love a Pop-Tart.
I love both.
I mean, if there was a Pop-Tart sitting here right now, I would eat it.
Right.
If there's a box of donuts, if you bring a box of donuts in this building,
I'm going to eat one.
I'm a 35-year-old adult, and I don't have the willpower to say no. I might eat 2 or 3.
Right. Walk by the box. Psst. Dustin.
What about you, Ryan?
What's your
If
favorite
there's
snack?
the Chips Ahoy Chewy,
Mm-hmm.
I can eat those in a day.
You
the whole-
microwave 'em.
The whole box. Oh,
Put
yeah.
them in the microwave for about 2 or 3 seconds.
See that? I just can't wait. I just have to eat them. I'll just
Boy, they're
eat
good.
them all day.
It's the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Sack Lunch Show, 1136 on your Tuesday, February 25th. It's time now for your sports, brought to you by Yates Concrete, making concrete sexy for 3 generations. Florida State basketball is on a roll.
Like butter.
24-4 on the year, 14-3 in conference play. They beat number 11 Louisville 82-67 last night.
That's a good score.
Trent Forrest scored 14 of his 16 points after halftime, and number 6 Florida State rallied from a double-digit deficit in the second half to beat number 11 Louisville by 15 points. With the win, Florida State moves past the Cardinals into first place in the ACC.
Yeah.
They now lead Louisville and number 7 Duke by a half game in pursuit of their first ACC regular season championship. A few years ago, Florida State won the ACC tournament. It's 2012. I think it was the first time, or maybe the first time since at least the early 90s, that Florida State had won the ACC tournament. And Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski, who admittedly is really, really good at what he does,
very good,
said something along the lines of, well, the regular season really tells you who the best team in the conference is. Like the ACC tournament, one team can get hot, and the matchups can be right, and you can win the tournament. But the regular season ACC record tells you who the best team in the conference is. Well, Mike, Florida State is now a half game ahead of your Duke squad. Now, unfortunately, Duke has the head-to-head win over Florida State. And should both teams win out, Duke would win the regular season title. But if Duke loses one more time, they still got to play Louisville again. They still got to play North Carolina and Virginia. If Duke loses one of those 3 games and Florida State wins out, then Florida State is your regular season ACC champion in men's basketball. They have now secured a double bye in the ACC tournament.
Sweet.
And probably at this point, no matter what happens the rest of the way out, have secured at least a top 4 seed in the big dance.
Yeah. I thought they played each other twice.
Who?
Yeah, like Florida State played Duke twice.
No.
Home and home.
No, there's like 14 teams in the conference.
Yeah.
And they only play, I think, 20 conference games. So you can't play everybody twice.
Right. Okay.
It rotates.
Cool. No problem. I'm going to go ahead and step out on a limb. I'm going to put Florida State Elite 8. I'm going to put them there.
Well, that's not necessarily out of the realm of possibility, considering they did that 2 years ago. And last year went to the Sweet 16. So an Elite 8 run now is not foreign territory for Florida State basketball fans.
Depending on who makes it with them.
Well, that's the only thing. The tournament is all about matchups. You run up against a team that.
And then there's that Cinderella team, it's just always stepping in somewhere. So that's a bunch of mess.
You run up against a team that's drilling threes from the half-court line and,
from the
can't
snack
miss. I mean, you can lose.
Yeah. And I hate those games because there ain't nothing you can do about it.
And that's kind of what Mike Krzyzewski was talking about when he said that the regular season ACC record is what really shows you who's the best, because it's over the course of 20 games. Whereas the tournament, like I said, you can get hot. One particular player can get hurt, and that can cause your team to not be able to do this particular thing well. Next thing you know.
I've been on both sides of that deal.
Yeah.
I've been on the side you couldn't miss anything, and I've been on the side you couldn't make anything. So it happens. It's sports.
The Arizona Diamondbacks said they knew that Madison Bumgarner lived on a ranch.
But he didn't know he was roping cows.
But didn't know he was a rodeo participant. Arizona General Manager Mike Hazen said on Monday he was aware Bumgarner was, quote, a very strong horseman, and added that even though he didn't know about the rodeos, that knowledge wouldn't have affected the team's decision to sign the left-hander to an $85 million 5-year contract. He said, Madison's a grown man.
Yeah, he is.
And we know he's committed to helping us achieve our goals as a team. Those have been the conversations that we've had from the time we first talked to him until very recently. Diamondbacks manager Torey Lovullo called his past rodeos, quote, a non-issue.
Right. So he must be just roping and not jumping off and tying them down. But still.
Who cares?
I know, right?
Go get on a horse and run around inside that pen and with a bull in there. Like, what are the odds of getting hurt? You hadn't seen 8 seconds?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Where that dude falls off the horse and then the bull with the with steps on him?
Yeah. Steps on his life.
I told you.
Or his extended life.
Lavulo says, I want him to be safe. I want him to be healthy. I want him to come out and pitch every 5th day. Those are the types of things we talk about. I have to say,
That's pretty cool.
that's refreshing to hear. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure somewhere in the
His
contract
yeah.
is language that says, hey, man,
Hey, you get hurt on
you
the
want to
bull?
do rodeos?
Fine.
Fine. You want to ride dirt bikes like he did back in 2017
Yeah.
when he missed 3 months?
Yeah.
You want to do that kind of thing? Fine. But it could void your contract.
Yeah. Or you're just not getting paid well. Yeah.
And that's kind of what it sounds like he was saying when he said, Madison's a grown man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows what he's doing.
You know?
So?
If you leave here, Johnny, and you go out and
Right.
skydive,
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pay you tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, if you
I'm not paying you if you die.
if you break your leg and can't come to work, like, if you did it skydiving, man,
Hey.
you know.
Well, I'll just be like the guy that got stuck jogging in the like yesterday in the through
the
the
forest?
Iditarod, jogging with a pair of shorts on.
Keeping it in Major League Baseball, Jose Altuve's already been hit by a pitch.
Has he really?
Yep.
No.
He insisted that he couldn't avoid the pitch that grazed his foot yesterday.
Oh, his foot.
Houston Astros manager Dusty Baker said he was hitting the foot. That ain't nothing. You know what I mean? It wasn't intentional. Altuve was loudly booed when he was introduced for
I
his
bet.
spring training debut, cheered when he struck out, and called a cheater by several fans.
I imagine.
You got to remember,
I mean, he's gonna hear that all year.
this is an Astros spring training game.
Yeah.
What are the odds that the fans that were there are primarily Astros fans?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's normally who's just there.
Altuve and fellow starters Alex Bregman, Carlos Correa, and Yuli Gurriel played for the first time this year. We were focused on playing baseball, Jose said. We know that we need to go on the field and get ready and prepared for the coming season. That's what we're thinking about. The announced crowd of 4,891, almost 5,000 people,
there.
were
Cheater.
they were discouraged by ushers from gathering near the Astros dugout
Smart.
unless they had box seats along the third base line. I think I even saw one video floating around out there where they were taking away signs from the fans. You know how
yeah?
fans bring in a sign that
Yeah.
says, hit the ball here,
Yeah.
Altuve's a cheater, that kind of thing. They actually took their
Hold
signs.
up one side.
Which, by the
two
way,
taps is a curve.
how ironic is it that the Astros personnel are stealing signs?
From their own
Oh, my
side. Man. I'm surprised there wasn't any trash can lids taken up. Probably were.
2 other Astros were hit by pitches in the late innings, but they say it wasn't on purpose. Detroit starting pitcher Matthew Boyd, who fanned Altuve in the first inning, says it wasn't difficult to block out the booing and the heckling, and he remained focused on playing the game. That's because you weren't being booed there,
Right.
Matthew.
Right.
He also said, it's spring training. Honestly, let's let it die. What's done is done. I know how everybody feels, but no one's going to change anything now. I'm sorry to tell you, Matthew, that ain't happening.
No.
He said the punishment's been handed out. No, it hasn't.
Not yet.
And that's the point.
I know.
Altuve has not been punished.
None of them have. Except
The
the
only
ones who got
people that have
fired.
been punished were the people that got fired.
They were
And
all managers.
that's why all the fans are mad. Like if they came out and said, okay, the title's vacated, which I wouldn't be a fan of because they still won it.
Right.
But if they came out and said the title's vacated, the Astros are no longer your 2017 World Series champs,
Yeah.
I think most people would say, well, that's kind of a dumb way to punish them, but at
Right.
least they've been punished.
Right.
I mean, do you agree?
Yeah.
Right.
But
I don't know why they didn't do it individually.
the fact that they have
what I mean?
not done anything like that, they're going to have to live with
Yeah.
fans booing.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to have to live with every time somebody gets hit by a pitch,
Just smile and keep
thinking that it's intentional.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to come with it.
Right.
That's just all there is to it. If you're
I
not going to
think-
punish them,
Right.
you're going to have to deal with that part of
I
it.
think the penguin on Madagascar said it best. Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
University of Georgia is making waves in the offseason after hiring Todd Monken as their offensive coordinator. Kirby Smart and his team have gone out and hired Scott Cochran, who had been Alabama's head strength and conditioning coach under Nick Saban since 2007.
He's intense, too.
Now, I think I read that he was an assistant strength coach with, like, the New Orleans Pelicans, like a basketball team, before he was hired by Nick Saban at Alabama.
I didn't know that.
He's been there for 12, 13 years.
Right.
He wanted to be an on-the-field coach.
Okay.
Kirby Smart gave him that opportunity as the special teams coordinator.
Right.
He said that he tried to hire him as the strength coach when Kirby was hired back in 2016. Cochran was the fifth highest paid strength and conditioning coach last year, which is hard to believe that he wasn't number one.
Yeah.
He made $595,000 annually with potential bonuses of $130,900. He's been with Nick Saban for every national championship, including going all the way back to LSU in 2003 as he was an assistant on that staff at LSU back in 2003. He said, Nick Saban did, he wanted to get on the field coaching and would one day, I think, like to be a head coach. We didn't really have anything here to offer him along those lines, and Georgia did. I understand him wanting to take on that path. The reason Georgia had that opening is because Scott Fountain, who was previously the special teams coordinator, left to join Sam Pittman's staff at Arkansas. So Kirby had an opening on the field.
Right.
Saban didn't.
Yeah.
Kirby saw the potential
Yeah.
and
Kirby
brought him
knew
in.
the potential because he's worked with
Saban didn't. Saban's had other on-the-field opportunities in the past, so he can make that excuse presently.
Right.
But he knew that that's what Scott Cochran wanted,
Right.
and up to this point had not made that happen.
Right.
Kirby Smart made it happen. They're the better team for it.
Right.
Alabama, they'll find somebody.
I'm sure.
They'll probably got somebody. They'll just promote from within.
I was about to say,
and
somebody's
they'll
on
be
the
just
door
fine.
now. Yeah.
But you can't keep losing these valuable pieces of what made you great
Right.
and expect to not miss a beat.
Right. If this guy's been there since 2007 and he has been the heart and soul, I think one of the players said, of the team, I don't know. This is just me, my opinion. I'd have found him somewhere to sit on the field.
Yeah.
Well, Kirby Smart.
If he's that good, you know what I mean?
Kirby has done what other coaches have been scared to do. Look, Mark Richt was a great coach at the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
But Mark Richt didn't want to make waves.
He didn't want to surround himself with people that would make waves either.
He didn't want to make waves. He was doing pretty doggone good, and he tried to sustain that level of success for a long time, but he never got over the hump.
Right.
Part of the reason he never got over the hump is because he never made waves when it came. I mean, Nick Saban fired his offensive line coach one year after they won the national championship.
Yeah, I remember.
So, I mean, you have to be willing to make those tough decisions. That's what Kirby did here. Kirby replaced James Coley as offensive coordinator.
Right.
He's now brought in Scott Howard, not Scott Howard. Scott Cochran
Scott Howard.
as the special teams coordinator. He's making waves,
Dude.
and all of a sudden,
Now,
the momentum is back on Georgia's side.
right?
Yeah.
I'm proud of Kirby, man. I think he's hungry.
Hey, it's the Sack Lunch Show. We'll be right back.
That's a sexy guy, right?
11:58 on your Tuesday, February 25th. Don't forget, we'll be broadcasting live this Saturday at the Pelham Huddle House. Johnny will be out there from 10 a.m. until noon. The Pelham Huddle House right there on 19 North, where all the food is half off.
Yep.
And 3 people are going to win free Huddle House for a year.
Yes.
Come on out and join us. It'll be a big time.
10 a.m. to noon.
Yep. Also, want to remind everybody, you can find Scripture of the Day each day posted at SawiggaLive.com. You can also follow our Instagram page. We try to share it there. Yep. And, it's a good way to just kind of get your mind right first thing in the morning. If you're not reading your Bible regularly, but you're reading Scripture of the Day, at least you're reading something.
Reading something.
Yep. We appreciate you listening to this Tuesday edition of the Sack Lunch Show. This is my last Sack Lunch Show of the week, but Johnny's going to hold it down the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And we'll be back together next Monday. Don't miss the ride this afternoon from 4 to 6. Don't miss Jesus and Jammin' every morning from 6 to 9. And then don't miss Johnny and his version of the Sack Lunch Show tomorrow, kicking off at 10 a.m.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you listening.
See you.